There's a kitty in the background. What's up, guys? Mikey here, and welcome to Star Week Episode 4. Today we're going to be getting into A New Hope, originally titled Star Wars, which because it was the original. Special guest, Sam Libby in the background. I'm watching my friend's cat over the weekend, so that's why I'm in a new space. I don't think I ever explained this in any of the other videos. So hey, I'm starting new. Starting new, just like episode 4 did. It starts new. This is the original video. So, but yeah, I'm babysitting my friend's cat. There's Sam Libby. There is Mona, who is over by the window. You can't see her, but yep, those are the two fuzzballs that I'm gladly babysitting over the weekend. It's been a lot of fun. So, but yeah, I'm doing all of my videos here, so it's been interesting. New location. I brought a small light with me, and obviously the camera and stuff. So yeah, I still do videos and stuff like that. It's fun. Yep. So I have a background piece. I have clickbait. There we go. Cat video. So anyway, let's get into A New Hope. We all know A New Hope. Now I'm going to try my absolute best to not let Rogue One, A Star Wars Story influence this video at all, which is going to be kind of difficult. There's Mona. You can't see her, but it's going to be kind of difficult because Rogue One just came out like not too long ago, and it's like it puts a lot of things in perspective for this movie. But all in all, we know the story that Vader is after Princess Leia because she has plans to the Death Star. She gives these plans to R2-D2, sends them to Desert Planet, and where they're picked up by Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker joins them, and the story goes on from there. They attack the Death Star, and the Death Star blows up and stuff like that. So, yeah. Pretty straightforward, right? If I'm being really honest, this movie, I was genuinely surprised by how much of this movie can actually be a standalone. You kind of look at the Star Wars series now, and you think of it like episodic. Like, when watching the prequels, I knew, okay, there's more to it. There's more to this. And it's not just because I know the story, but like the movies always gave you the sense that there's more to it. You know, they always kind of promoted like it never ended on a cliffhanger per se. But, well, except for episode 3, it kind of cliffhung a little bit. But they all kind of like, yeah, you felt like you were watching. You know how like Sherlock is like 2 hours long or almost 2 hours long, basically, the TV series, and you feel like, okay, there's something going on, and then that's going to lead into something else. You always kind of feel that way. Especially when the Moriarty story arc and stuff was going on. But yeah, it's the same for the prequels. The prequels were always kind of like, yeah, I kind of felt like there was more to the story. With Star Wars Episode 4, it's probably one of the few that actually feels like you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I mean, you really feel that way. The only thing is, like, you know there's going to be more because Darth Vader gets away at the end, before the Death Star has exploded and stuff. I like this movie. This was my first, obviously this was a lot of people's first introduction to Star Wars. It was, like I said, it was titled Star Wars. It was the original Star Wars. It was later titled Episode 4 when the prequels came out and were coming out. But now it's, do I like the CGI additions? Kind of. Some of them I like. I think it's a nice little addition to it. Some of them I feel like it's a little distracting when they kind of like walk straight up in front of the screen. It's just kind of like you're doing something, all of a sudden something just walks by. You're like, really? Get out of the way. It's almost like unruly animals. It's just like, damn it. Now I gotta read it, but it's just like it's not a mistake. It's done on purpose. I don't know why, but it's done on purpose or whatever. So now I'm going to let episode 3 influence this video a little bit, but I'm going to try not to let Rogue One. I'm trying not to mention any of that because that is a specific video in and of itself. But episode 3, since I just did that one, it kind of leads into this. You see Obi-Wan Kenobi because he's been in hiding for a while. He's been kind of watching over Luke Skywalker and stuff like that. And, Luke has this. What surprises me is Anakin got a lot of flack for being a whiny kid. And he was. I'm not going to lie. He was. But so was Luke. So was Luke. You kind of like, this is, yeah. And you know what? I even respect the fact that they do favor each other a little bit. It's just like, I can see, like, other in terms of like a movie and stuff. Like, I can see Anakin being Luke's father. That the favoring is there, stuff like that. And there were certain things that I noticed that Lucas did in the prequels and that had Anakin do that were almost like direct reflections of what Luke had done in the original trilogy. And one of those was, now, and I'll get into this a little bit more in detail, but one of those is when they're investigating what's going on, Luke and Obi-Wan and the two droids, C-3PO and R2-D2, they're trying to investigate what's going on. And they find that the stormtroopers have been there, and they're trying to. Now, there's a funny line. It's so funny. And Obi-Wan's just like,
only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
You serious?
No. Okay, no. Nice try, but no. And, like I said, this being the first movie, you don't actually know that meme that the stormtroopers can't hit squat. But they've gotten better. Surprisingly, in the prequels, they were better. And surprisingly enough, in episode 7 and Rogue One, they were better. So it's kind of funny. That's like, just like, no, that meme does not exist anymore. The stormtroopers can hit stuff. But, obviously not in this trilogy. But it's a funny line that after you've seen the trilogy multiple times, that this line is just funny. But anyway, they go and Luke realizes, like, oh, my family's in trouble. And he gets there and realizes that his family had pretty much has been slaughtered. And there's this look that he does. He looks down and you can see, like, he's trying, like, to hold it together. But of all things that come out, anger and rage kind of do it. He just kind of does this. He looks down and he kind of, like, looks up in this rage-filled, like, you could see the anger building, it's boiling inside of him. And they did something very similar to that in episode 2 when Anakin's mom dies, and he just kind of looks down and then, like, he looks back up with that same anger. And I was just like, oh, okay, I see some nice little callbacks. And so these were things I really didn't catch on because I felt like they were a little bit subtle, other than the whole I've got a bad feeling about this, like that. I will be honest, that line is amusingly annoying because it's said in every episode. Somebody has to say it at some point, maybe sometimes twice, but somebody says it. It's just like, you just gotta say it, don't you? You just gotta say it. It's just like when somebody, sees a big bull and just like, that's a lot of bull. It's like, really? You had to say it. It's like if someone tells that bad joke, it's like, you had to say it, didn't you? But yeah. There's one problem I really did have with this movie is that after that little rage moment that he, like, it's not a rage moment, but like you see it in his eyes that he wants to avenge his family. It's never talked about ever again. It's never addressed. It's never really pulled back from. He doesn't destroy the Death Star and say, like, that was for you, Uncle Lars, or anything. Nope. Nope. They're just like, just never mention again. Let's see. What else? Oh, okay, Han shot first, right? We all know that from the original. Well, most of us know that if we have seen the original footage. They have the whole new one now where Han moves his head and then shoots Greedo after, and it's just like, I get why people are upset about it. I really do. Did it? Does it kind of take away from his character? A little bit. A little bit, because this was a character that cared, like, really just didn't really give a crap about. He only cared about himself and Chewie for the most part, but himself mostly. And he goes, it kind of like helps to establish this character arc and everything. But in the grand scheme of things, I forget about it later on. I forget about it very quickly. It's just like, it doesn't ruin the movie for me. It doesn't ruin his character for me. I literally will forget about it later on. I'm just like, oh, well. I was like, oh, I see that you can see the change. It's very obvious when they do the change. You can see it, especially on Blu-ray. It's really apparent. But then you're just like, I don't care. He's still a cool character. I like the introduction to. I like his introduction and everything. Also, Obi-Wan. His character is so different now. From watching the original trailer, because you saw him as this kind of like mentor and everything, and his character is so much different. And in the sense of, now there's a little something that I don't really get, is that it's very rushed how they're just like, you need to use the Force and help me fight. I'm getting too old for this, so come on. That's what Obi-Wan's telling Luke. He's like, come on, man, come on, let's go. I'm like, what? And even Luke's like, I can't go. I can just pick up and leave, man. I'm just like, I got stuff to do. I got a family. I can't just go. I can't just leave like that. So it was kind of interesting how that happened. But the one thing you do know is how Obi-Wan is acting towards Luke. His attitude towards Luke is completely different than the attitude he had toward Anakin. Like I said, their personalities are kind of similar, but their personalities are kind of similar, in a certain regard. But you see, like, the difference. You see the growth that Obi-Wan actually went through, and you're like, wow, good on you, Obi-Wan. I look at it a little bit differently, and I especially look at the battle between Vader and Obi-Wan a little bit differently. You see, now you feel a little bit of pain behind that, because it's like almost a revenge battle, and he even says, like, that Vader knows. He knows absolutely that Obi-Wan's not going to wouldn't be able to beat him. And even Obi-Wan knows, like, nah, I can't beat this dude. So we get the death scene with Vader killing Obi-Wan, and he goes willingly, and there's two reasons for that. One we'll get into in the future video, but some of it I felt like was his atoning. Like, he let him take him down for two reasons. Because he sees that Luke is going to be this great person and everything. He feels that within him and everything. And well, like I said, we get into that in a future video, because he does come back, obviously, in a sense. In a sense, he comes back, but not like you'd really think. If you've seen the original, you've seen all the movies, then you know what I'm talking about. But I felt like some of that was atonement. Like, yeah, I failed you. I cut you down. Here's my atonement for it. Just like if you hit somebody and you let them hit you back just to be fair, or whatever. I felt like some of that was in there. I see. I can't get into the Death Star thing so much, like there's a whole fight with the battle with the space battle with the when they're trying to destroy the Death Star. They're trying to shoot into this one exhaust port and everything like that. And the effect still looks kind of funny. I was just like, Stoop! It just kind of like sucks in there. It looks kind of funny. It still does to this day. But I can't get into that too much because it is a random flaw in the movie, but I can't get into it too much because I'm going to talk about it in Rogue One. So, so there's that. I can't really talk about that one a little bit too much. Leia was cool. Leia was actually a really cool character at times. I like the chemistry that they all had, despite like some people thought their acting was kind of stilted a little bit, and maybe so, but they still kind of had that on-screen chemistry towards each other. They're giving each other crap and stuff like that all the time, and they bounced off each other really well. And they were. It was funny. Some of the scenes were funny. And sometimes, like, I understood Leia's gripes, and other times I'm just like, all right, you're just being a pain in the butt now. Of course, any scene with Vader was just cool. But I look at Vader so much differently now. Like, but when I first saw Darth Vader, I was just like, oh, this is this evil dude. Like, he's a bad guy. I don't look at him that way anymore. I look at him as somebody. He's still very much a bad guy. He's still a bad man right now, but I know what brought him to that. So, like, I sympathize a little bit. And as I said, like, some of episode 3 and some of most of the prequels actually do influence how I see the original trilogy going forward and stuff like that. What else? It's not really that much that goes on. It's a pretty for it being a classic, it's a pretty straightforward movie. Like I said, it has a beginning, middle, end. You follow everything really well. I have to talk about this one shot because it's, like, to me, one of the most beautiful shots in the movie, when Luke is standing and, like, there's the two suns and they're just like, it's like they're setting, and, like, there's just like this reddish orange tint on screen and everything, and it's just, he's like looking over the horizon, and then you have the score just going, and it's like, that is so beautiful. It's like, I want to be there right now. I want to just be there and just stare and bask. It's like, it's really just a beautiful shot. I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm talking about, but, like, it's really just a beautiful shot. Of all things that I really, really, really enjoyed in the movie, that was one. It was a random shot of the horizon. I was just like, wow, that was beautiful. That is beautiful. Good on you, Mr. Lucas. good eye, sir. But like I said, this is a pretty straightforward movie, and it's enjoyable in and of itself. It's funny, it's action-packed, it's suspenseful at times. It's even more suspenseful now. Has more depth due to the prequels, and, like, you gotta give it that. The prequels definitely gave these movies a little more depth than they already had. So now you're like, oh, you look at things differently now. At least I do. I look at things a little bit differently. Were the prequels great? No. But, like, when it comes to these movies, it's like, these are really good. Yeah, they're enjoyable. Like I said, they're funny. I especially love the funny scene where Han is chasing, like, the like three stormtroopers. He's like, ah, and then he gets to, like, where like 50 or 60 of them are standing, and he's like, oh shit, and he runs the other way. It's funny, like, and you can tell that's one of those actual CGI enhanced scenes, because I think there was like maybe 5 or 6 of them at that time. But when it improved a little bit, because he, like, runs, and then he sees, like, a whole arm, like a whole battalion of them, like, oh shoot, I run the other way. It kind of adds to it. It, like, makes a little bit more sense and stuff like that. Like I said, some of the CGI additions were nice. They're obvious, but, like, they're nice. They add that little bit of a niche to it, and some of them are just annoying. Like I said, I can't stand the ones like he's just like kind of walking in front of the screen. It's just like, get out of the way. It's like if you made movies or made videos or something, it's like somebody just walks in front of the camera and you're just like, really? That's what it kind of feels like. So, what else? That's it. That's it. I mean, that's this movie in kind of in a nutshell. It's enjoyable. It's not my favorite. My favorite is episode 5. We'll get into that one in the next video, obviously. But this is definitely enjoyable. It was a good intro to the series. They did a good job introducing the characters. And like I said, there's some things that I can't talk about yet because it would be directly related to Rogue One. So we'll get into that in another video. What did you guys think of Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope? Or if you just want to refer to it as Star Wars, the first Star Wars movie. What did you guys think of it? Whatever you thought, put it in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my friend JJ's blog at 4comicjunkies.blogspot.com. Follow him on Twitter at 4comicjunkies. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. McBlam. Uh-oh. She left. She went another way now. I'm just now noticing that. But, yeah, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in episode 4.